Right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to Women's Football Chat Live. The Women's Champions League action continues in match day 5 as we now move into the evening kickoffs. We are going to be watching Manchester United take on OL Lyonnes, which is really the biggest fixture of this evening. Two sides in with a shot of making top 4, though with United's team selection tonight, it feels they've abandoned any chances of that. But we'll get into that in due course. But this game, on paper at least, Harry, should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge game. Although it's pot 1 versus pot 3, it is still a massive Champions League clash. And with Barcelona winning earlier, it puts the pressure on OL Lyonnes to keep pace with the Spanish giants at the top of the table. And of course, Lyon are fighting for a place in that top 4. United also in that conversation, but a bit more work to do. But this is a good opportunity for Manchester United to prove their quality against Europeans elite. The record winners of this top competition, it presents an opportunity for Mark Skinner and his side to go toe-to-toe with probably the best manager in the world right now in Jonathan Giraldez. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. As you say, some bizarre team selection potentially for the home side, but overall, it should still be a very, very good contest. And yeah, hopefully we are going to see a very competitive and very exciting game that goes right down to the wire with a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah, indeed. It's been far from flawless for OL Lyonnes in this Champions League campaign, despite some excellent performances in the Arsenal game. They started slow, had to come from behind to win 2-1. Last time out against Juventus, 3-0 down in the early stages, but bounced back to draw that game 3-3, an important point at this stage of the competition. But OL Lyonnes still looking at a very strong side. Let's start though with the lineups, and we'll begin with the host. We are at the Lee Sports Village in Manchester, so we'll start with the United team, a 4-2-3-1 for the Reds tonight, and some interesting selections. In goal, Palatola's Joyce returns to action for Manchester United after suffering that injury that saw her out of the last 2 Champions League games. A back four of Riviere, Letitia, George and Sandberg as Dominic Janssen drops to the bench. A midfield 3 of Awujo, Miyazawa and Nalsoon. We expect Awujo to be the highest player there. Ziggiotti on the bench. On one side, Mallard. On the other, Fridolin Arolfo. And leading the line in the Women's Champions League in 2025, it's Rachel Williams. What is going on for Manchester United? No Turland, no Park, no Toon, no Janssen. No Ziggiotti, heavily rotated for Manchester United tonight, Harry.
I have a lot of questions for Mark Skinner and his coaching staff because I would love to know why they've picked that starting 11. As you say, a lot of key players missing against the best side in the world. It feels like almost that United are admitting defeat before they've even tried. And while they may be focusing on the big clash against Tottenham on Sunday, because that is a huge game in the context of the UWCL, that by no means that you should play a very weak side against OL Lyonnes. It seems like a bit of an oversight from Mark Skinner. Of course, it is still a good side. It's still got some dangerous players in, but there's also some players here which I look at and they aren't at the level. They really aren't at the level to play Champions League football, especially not against probably the best side in the competition. So a real bizarre team selection from Mark Skinner. It almost feels like he's thrown in the towel a little bit without throwing in the towel.
I think to an extent they have. I think, though, I have to say it makes sense. United have had severe injury issues this season. Their squad is incredibly thin. And when in their next 4 games are they going to get to rest? They play Tottenham this weekend. That's an incredibly important game this Sunday. If they lose that, they slip behind Tottenham. They slip behind Arsenal. They could potentially be only a few points ahead of London City Lionesses. It's a huge game this Sunday. And Tottenham are a very difficult side at the moment. Next week they face Juventus. That's another opportunity to rest. They've then got Tottenham in the League Cup after that. So with how difficult their schedule is coming up, and how little their squad has had the opportunity to rotate, they're already through in the Champions League. Yes, it's not as exciting because they are throwing away tonight's game. It's not impossible they get a result with the side they've listed, to be fair, but it definitely feels like United are sacrificing tonight, knowing they're already through, knowing they're probably not going to get top 4 because they have to win tonight and against Juventus and have results elsewhere go their way. So I think it does make sense from Skinner. It's probably the smartest decision.
Yeah, I think it also could be viewed as making a bit of a point saying that, look, you aren't giving me enough money. This is the squad I'm rotating with. If you want me to go and do big things and win trophies, you can't expect me to do it with this squad being as thin as it is. So maybe Skinner using tonight to not only rest up, but also to kind of send a bit of a message to the higher ups at Man United, saying, look, I'm going to keep putting this 11 out in the Champions League until you give me more options to be able to rotate and rest with.
Well, he said in the most recent press conference he needs a defender, he needs a midfielder, and he needs an attacker. If you threw in a different striker, a different central midfielder, and a centre-back in there tonight, I actually don't think that looks a bad team at all. So potentially making a point towards the higher-ups. Let's look at the Lyon side, though. There is some slight rotation, but it's still ridiculously strong. In goal, Christine Endler, a back four of Tarchiani, Solbath, Engen and Selma Batcher. In the middle of three, it's Heaps, Dumornay and Egarola. On one side, Eula Brand. On the other side, Chewinga. And leading the line, Ada Hegerberg. Insane that is called a rotated side, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, we go from one side in United who don't really have much squad depth to a side in Lyonnaise who have got a lot of squad depth with world-class quality. Ada Hegerberg as a backup striker is absolutely absurd. Her coming in tonight, it's going to cause United problems all across the park. It's an absolutely brilliant Lyon side, and you'd fully expect them to get on the ball and make things happen, and they are really going to test that United back four, a defence that we know can be very good but has also struggled this season a little bit. So it's going to be a very interesting contest. But yeah, that OL Lyonnaise side is just absolutely ridiculous, full of quality, and even if those 11 players can't get the job done for some reason, they'll just bring loads of star-studded players off the bench to come on and make the difference.
Yeah, I think it's without. I don't know if I may be mistaken here, but I think it's Wendy Renard's first game being benched since the Champions League semi-final against Arsenal back in April.
Yeah, potentially.
Might be wrong on that one, but I think it is. So not involved tonight from the start for OL Lyonnaise. Either that or she hasn't made the squad, as her FootMob shows that she's played or started every other match since then. So yeah, interesting game. Let's get into predictions then. If you're watching along, get involved in the live chat. Let us know your scoreline predictions for this game. But we're going to kick things off here in the studio. And we'll start with yourself, Harry. What's your prediction as United take on OL Lyonnaise?
I'm going to back Lyonnaise. I think they've just got more quality. It'll be a good game, though. I'm going to say a bit of a thriller here at the Lee Sports Village. Manchester United 2, OL Lyonnaise 3. I think it's going to be a classic, UWCL classic. Okay. I will say United to open the scoring through Mallard, Lyonnaise to level it up through, I will say, Chewinga. I then think it'll be a goal from Hegerberg to make it 2-1, a goal from Heats to make it 3-1. United will get one back through, I'll say Rachel Williams to score to make it 3-2, but it won't quite be enough, and Lyonnaise will take the 3 points home.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to say Manchester United 1, OL Lyonnaise 4. I'm tempted between 4 and 5. I think it's going to be dominant tonight for OL Lyonnaise. United haven't looked great in recent weeks. They've looked incredibly tired in a lot of their most recent games. OL Lyonnaise are coming in with the intention to make top 4. United just want to rest up. I think this could be a real drubbing from OL Lyonnaise. So I'm going to say Rachel Williams to score for Manchester United. I think that'll be a sort of second half consolation goal for United. For Lyonnaise, I'm going to say a double for Dumornay, a goal for Selma Batcher, and a goal as well for Lindsay Heaps.
Fair enough.
So yeah, not expecting much from United here, but maybe they will surprise me. Phil saying 3-1 United with a Rachel Williams hat-trick. Now that would be something. If they went 3-0, Rachel Williams scores a hat-trick. Incredible scenes.
That would be that would shut us all out, and that would be something that go down in Champions League history.
I'll buy a Manchester United shirt with Rachel Williams on the back.
Okay,
and we will proudly display it on this set for every United game left this season.
Okay, that's a deal. All we need is
a hat-trick for Rachel Williams in the Women's Champions League. Then I'll be on the Manchester United store tonight, seeing if they've got any Christmas deals. So yeah, there we go. Zeta says, I don't know, I think Rolfo can tear apart OL's right side. Potentially, I think when you put out a team like this, it's already a message that tonight isn't an important game. And I don't know if the intensity will be there for United tonight. They've looked very slow, they're very tired in recent weeks. They know that Sunday is a more important game because they need to keep up in third in the WSL. They know that they've got a game against Tottenham as well. They play Tottenham in quick succession, but the Subway League Cup game arguably even more important. United want silverware this year. Are they realistically going to win the Champions League? No, but they need to keep progressing in the competition for the prize money. Are they realistically going to win the WSL? Probably not. Are they realistically going to win the FA Cup or the Subway League Cup? They're the competitions United can focus on. So I think they'll be keen to win that game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they play strong on Sunday, weak against Juventus, because they know they're through already. And they are likely now to get top half. Well, actually, probably not. If results don't go their way, but they know they're through, and they'll face whoever they get in the knockout playoff round.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. I think it's obviously for the fans, it won't be nice because you want to win every game of football, but sometimes you have got to look at that bigger picture. Really,
it's a sacrifice they have to make. United, they don't have the squad depth to compete. They don't. They're playing their rotation players, and we know Lisa Narsund isn't the level they need. We know Gabriel George isn't a centre back. We know that Rachel Williams is nowhere near Champions League.
We're going to find out.
But she might score a hat-trick tonight. We'll have to wait and see. It will be Manchester United to get us underway here at the Leeds Sports Village. And it's Simia Wujo from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle. And now can get us underway in this game. Knocks it back, underway for this Champions League fixture. It's match day 5 of the Women's Champions League. Manchester United taking on OL Lyonnes. And it's United on the ball early on here, Wujo. Sends it into the right channel. Mallard tries to touch on to Riviere. Too much on that, though, from Melvin Mallard.
Yeah, United got to start fast, got to start aggressive. Try and be on the front foot and put Lyonnes under a bit of pressure and make them work for it.
Mallard, nice give and go with Wujo. Lovely pass in to Simia Wujo again, and that's cleared away well by Engen Batcher. Down the line into Chewinga Dumornay. Now Heaps. Salma Batcher launching it forwards, and that's out of play for a Man United throw. And so United now looking to build up from the right-hand side. Letitia. Phil says, I fancy a full strength at OL to win the Champions League. They are tactically suited for knockout football. Yeah, absolutely. I think they're... full strength United to win the Champions League. The heart emoji thing got in the way there. But, I mean, that's a bolder statement. I think, yeah, but their starting 11 is good enough to beat some top teams. I think they're very tactically astute. I think Skinner's a good manager, but I don't know if they've got the depth, which I think is probably their issue, to compete at the top level. I think their starting 11 now, United, is really strong.
Yeah.
Endler. With the ball in her hands, launches it out to the left-hand side. And one back well in there by Riviere. Last soon is tumbled down there by Lindsay Heaps. And that has come off the American midfield, and that will be a Manchester United throw-in. No, it's a free kick, sorry, to Lyonnes.
That was the one thing it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That was either a United throw or a United free kick. At the very most, it was a Lyonnes throw.
Yeah, bizarre decision there from the referee. Didn't help the camera angle was really poor. But there we go. Endler. Engen, back to Endler. Lloyd says, Man United are doing so much with their squad. I hope they survive the season. Well, I hope they get some investment in January. You know, a club of Manchester United's size and stature should be able to invest more into their women's side. They shouldn't just be scrounging around the bargain bin every year. I think, you know, people discredit Mark Skinner at every given opportunity, but I genuinely think what he's done with that squad, what the recruitment staff have done with the limited resources has been nothing short of incredible. You know, they've competed at the top end of the WSL. They've won an FA Cup in Skinner's period in charge. And they're in the Champions League this season for the first time in their history. Pass out to the right-hand side. Tachiane looks to play it in behind. That an ambitious ball forward. And that'll roll out of play for United. Goal kick. First 3 minutes, neither side really getting a lot going.
No, they haven't. And I don't think United will mind that too much. They're doing very well to limit Lyonnes. And it's you know, they're the ones getting on the ball, are the home side. I'm sure Growlers and Lyonnes won't be too bothered by that. They know that opportunities will come. They know they will have chances to get on the ball and play their football. especially if Letitia is that slow playing out the back, gets the ball nicked off her by Hegerberg, but that runs out of play. Letitia has had a really tough run, I feel, in a United shirt. Just a certain run of games, it really hasn't been clicking.
Well, yeah, she's played a ridiculous run for United where she's played like every game. And the difference that she's had to this season and previous seasons is, one, they're playing a lot more football because there's Champions League fixtures.
Yeah.
And they're much tougher fixtures than games like the Subway League Cup where you can take your foot off the gas a little bit. And she's playing 90 minutes now for England. With the number of injuries they've had, she's had a lot of opportunity, and that's great because she's getting those chances and she's finally playing in the England national team. But it's having a massive impact on Letitia and United. I think Letitia's looked so tired. I don't think there's a player in the WSL who's waiting or looking forward to the winter break more than Maya Letitia, than perhaps Yui Hasegawa, who I think is always looking forward to the to the winter break. It's the only time when she doesn't constantly play football. At least this season, City haven't had Champions League. Leon on the ball, Agarola knocks it down to Heaps. Now it's with Batcher. Great challenge there from Riviere to intercept the pass, and Mallard putting Batcher under pressure. Haven't really seen much of Rachel Williams yet in this game. I think United can probably use her physicality. That is the aspect of her game which they can utilise. If they can, make it stick to Williams tonight, that could be, that could be quite helpful.
Yeah, it could be. As you say, I think their best bet, Williams is a bit more of a hold-up. I mean, most probably a poacher, which isn't quite ideal in this day and age.
She's a poacher in her prime, and she's definitely not in her prime anymore. That's the problem. Rachel Williams was a very decent poacher in her prime, but she is now 37. And, playing her a Champions League group stage game is incredible stuff. Brand tries to get around Sandberg, pulls her back, but OL Lyonnes remain in possession. Ref happy to let the game flow a bit. Dumornay. Now Brand wants to come inside. Wrong foot Sandberg effectively. Still driving forwards, Brand. Sandberg aggressive in her pursuit, but does turn the ball over cleanly in the eyes of the referee. Rolfo down the line. Stays in touch just about. Solbach will get across to stop now soon. Now back to her goalkeeper. Endler under pressure from Williams. Does play out effectively to the right-hand side. Here's Tachiane. Lovely pass there through the lines into Lindsay Heaps. And this is good penetration from OL Lyonnes. Now Hegerberg. Ball into the box. Headed away by Letitia to Melchi Dumornay. And she latches at that effort. And that sails over.
Yeah. She'll be disappointed with that one. Dumornay. Good football from OL Lyonnes down the right-hand side. Hegerberg pulling wide and finding space. The ball into the box wasn't brilliant, but the header away from Letitia wasn't great either. And Dumornay snatches at that one. Really should have done better. Needs to get over it and drive some power through it. Instead, just sliced it directly up into the air.
Yeah, indeed. So United now going to go long here from Tallis Choice, who dummies the first goal kick. And now we'll send it forwards, looking for Rachel Williams, who loses that aerial contest to Damaris Agarola. And now Batcher out to the right-hand side. Williams still yet to touch the ball in the first 7 minutes, but is sort of being useful as that utility striker, pressing hard, trying to win those duels. Tachiane, now Agarola out to the left-hand side. Here is Batcher. Lovely footwork from the fullback, dancing feet into Heaps in the pocket, slots it through towards Hegerberg. Brilliant though from Gabby George, sticks touch tight and sees that back to her goalkeeper well.
Yeah, well defended that by George. That's all that United have got to do. They can get through tonight by being smart, making good decisions and communicating well, and that was well organised between George and Tallis Choice.
Tallis Choice sends it forward, and there's a first touch of the game for Williams, albeit not a great touch. Dumornay. Now out to the right-hand side. Eula Brand wants to take on Sandberg. Back now to Damaris Agarola. Mallard getting a touch. Sending it the wrong way, really. Chawinga. Ball into the box. Hegerberg bursting at the front post. Can't quite get there. Now Batcher. Ball in. Headed away well. And now Dumornay will keep this move alive. for the visitors. Sandberg narrows the angle. Dumornay wants to take her on. Brilliant from the Haitian creator. Tatiana, ball in, chance for Heaps. Brilliant from Jade Riviere. Gets between Heaps and the goal, heads it out. And that's an OL Lyonnais corner.
Superb defending from Riviere. Again, OL Lyonnais threatening. Too much space for Tatiana to put that ball into the box. Yeah. But Riviere does so well. Not only is she the right side of Heaps, but to be able to head that away, head it up and away without facing her own goal. Superb defending from Riviere. And now a corner for United to deal with. But Lyon are really starting to put pressure onto the home side now.
Indeed. And now the corner for OL Lyonnais. Glanced away there off the head of Letitia. Ball into the box. Bounces around. And it's Melvin Mallard now who can look to drive that away. Hegerberg with a bit of a rash challenge there. Doesn't catch Mallard though. And United can play out now. Mark there celebrating Jade's header. Almost as passionately as he celebrated Davidson's goal.
Yeah, good to see the Canadians shining in the Champions League.
Yeah, well, we saw Olivia Smith yesterday getting on the ball a lot, getting fouled a lot for Arsenal. So a lot of Canadians thriving on the European stage.
10 minutes gone, though, and I think the kind of mentality and the momentum of this game has really been set.
Yeah.
That Lyon are going to come out United tonight, and that Manchester United are going to have to work hard for this one.
Oh yeah, well, Lyon has 69% possession in the first 10 minutes. Really limiting United. No goals in any of the Champions League games tonight. 3 contenders for the competition. All in action. Atletico Madrid host Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, if they win tonight, would see themselves into the top 4. Same goes for OL Lyonnais as they face United here. And Chelsea as well as they host AS Roma. So, those 3 sides all needing big wins tonight. Put themselves in the prime position to qualify straight through to the quarterfinals. Here's Chawinga. Across now to Hegerberg. 1-on-1. Should score. Takes it wide. Brilliant from Jade Riviere. Recovers superbly. Here's Selma Batcher. Looking to recycle it. Chops it back now. Engen. Ball in. Chance now. Chawinga's there and it's a goal. And it's Manchester United now. OL Lyonnais 1. Brilliant, really. From Lyonnais. There's a player caught in the box there for Lyonnais as well. Half the team celebrate. Half the player check. Half the team check that player is okay. And Manchester United left to lick their wounds. It's been coming. It's been all one-way traffic. Letitia was caught out there. Chawinga then played it through. Riviere isolated. Managed to brilliantly to get back in there against Hegerberg. But United didn't recover quick enough. Batcher here knocks it back to Engen. Engen with the perfect delivery. It's smart here from Dumornay to create the space. And Chawinga heads home emphatically. Man United 0. OL Lyonnais 1.
Really poor from Man United. Don't react to the initial ball. And as you say, Letitia gets it all wrong. And then, again, there's no reaction to the recycling of play. And Chawinga was just allowed to walk into the penalty area there, unmarked, and head it home past Silas Joyce, who probably done better with that one.
Nasu. Miyazawa. Owujo. That's cleared away by Batcher and Hegerberg now. Dragged down by Letitia. Holds on to the ball though. And now to Heaps. An advantage is played. Ball down the left-hand side. Here is Chawinga. Plays it across. Dumornay. And that just bounces horribly in front of her. Dumornay now creates the chance. Hegerberg with the header. Just wide. And Hegerberg wants a corner. Trying her luck with that one. But that will be a United goal kick. Yes, it is one-way traffic here as OL Lyonnais. But to be fair, I think they may have got that corner. They haven't.
Again, ball turned over brilliantly by Lyonnais, and 4 or 5 passes later, and they're coming straight at Manchester United.
And well, goals in the Champions League like London buses this evening. None in the first 14 minutes, and then a goal in all of the games at the same time. We'll go first for Atletico Madrid. Bayern Munich as Atletico lead by a 1-0 there. Vilda Boarisa with that goal, and Bayern's early hopes crushed in the game between Chelsea and Roma. Chelsea take a 1-0 advantage and own goal from Valentina Bergamaschi. So Chelsea lead, Lyonnes lead, and they move up to second and third in the league phase. Bayern Munich, though, down a goal. Now it's even slipped to 10th.
Yeah, weird campaign for Bayern Munich so far. Atletico Madrid have also had a bit of a up and down tournament so far, but that would be a big win if they could hold on to that one.
Yeah, indeed. Give and go there between Brand and Dumornay. Brand driving forwards. Now Heaps. Played out to the left-hand side. Here's Selma Batcher. Hegerberg in the box. Now Chawinga. Can they find the cross? Batcher. Good ball into a dangerous area. Cleared away by United. But, well, this looks like a game between a pot 1 and a pot 3 team. Because Lyonnes are in control. Dumornay wants to take on Rolfo. Now wide into Tachiani. Dumornay. Brand cuts it back to Dumornay, who takes aim, and it's blocked. And then high pressure from Lyonnes. That's how to play for a United goal kick.
United are easily second best at the moment. This is all one-way traffic. Lyonnes are all over them. As you say, it's just United can't get a foot in. They're second to absolutely everything at the moment. And this first 15 minutes has been a difficult one. If the game carries on like this, it's going to be a very long evening for Mark Skinner and his side, because at the moment they just aren't competing with the 8-time champions.
The Chelsea goal, by the way, was a cross from Baltimore that Bergamaschi has headed into her own net.
Oh dear. Not ideal.
Yeah. Chelsea struggling to score at the moment, going for the option of asking the other team to do it for them. Riviere back now to Letitia. And now Tallis Joyce into George. Carrying the ball forward, Miyazawa. Narsoon. Goes back to George.
This is what United need. Just a couple of minutes on the ball, just to calm things down and just to feel like they're in the game. It's very easy for when you're playing against teams like Lyonnes for the game to just run away from you, and you constantly feel like you're running around and chasing.
Ball in behind, one back well in there by Engen. And Endler under pressure, knocks out to the left-hand side. Batcher does brilliantly to keep that in touch. And a lump ball forwards will find Hegerberg, who's brought down. Hegerola plays it forwards, but the referee decides that is enough of a foul to call it as such and not play advantage.
Yeah. Brings it back. Hegerberg there just knocked into as she held the ball up. I have to say, these Lyonnes kits are really not holding up on the Leigh Sports Village surface.
The kits?
Yeah, I think it's Hegerberg and Chawinga as well. They're absolutely caked in mud.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they're playing. Yeah, they are in white kits.
I know.
And not a brilliant surface. And Chawinga has already had a diving header.
That is true.
It's not like it's kicking up in the air at them.
I know, but still.
Here is Engen. Now Batcher. Being forced deep here. Salma Batcher. Now Damaris Agarola, who's splitting the centre halves nicely. Out to the right-hand side. Tachiane. Brand. Knocks it down the line, looking for Melchi Dumornay. Tries to cut it back, but Rolfo does cut that out and then gets it clear. But Lyon, they just look imperious tonight. The fact that they are basically just pushing their fullback so high and pushing Egarola back into this defence, into this sort of half-back position, split midfield then of Heaps and Dumornay, and they're just playing through United. Dumornay back now to Sombath. Here is Damaris Egarola. Engen. Heaps. And now Batcher. Chawinga wants to take on Riviere. Tries the cut back, and it's one back well in there by Melvin Mallard. And then Riviere. That does not look brilliant for Jade Riviere, who seems to have gone down with some sort of muscle injury. And she's run out, and that is an OL Lyonnes corner.
Yeah, maybe a bit of I've taken a heavy touch, so I'm going to go down and just hold something and then run off gingerly.
You hope so. For the sake of Riviere and United, because they can't deal with her being injured.
It looked like she went down off the ball, but yeah, she just got up running around again. I think that might have been a bit of, oh no, I've just made a big mistake, so I'm going to go sit on the floor and Pitlick will feel sorry for me.
Ball into the box, referee not happy.
She wants to take a shot. I mean, I'd love to know how the referee has spotted from there that the ball wasn't in the quadrant. She must have eagle eyes.
Yeah. To be fair, could be some communication there from the assistant referee on this near side, looking down the line.
Oh, maybe.
Well, yeah, if it's the assistant referee that's right next to us, you could just say, "Oi, put the ball back." So Batcher here, who is testing her luck with how not in the circle that can be. Batcher towards the back post, going to drop now for Tachiani back across the box. That floating effort though. Just floating wide. And that will be United goal kick.
Yeah. Very deep ball from Batcher, looking for Chewinga. Didn't quite work out. Engen with a bit of a poke forwards, but a poke and nothing more. But yeah, it feels like Lyonnes are playing well, but they're not at their top level. But that is because right now they don't need to be.
Yeah, 20 minutes in. If you're watching along at home, let us know in the live chat what you thought of this game so far. Manchester United struggling at the moment, which is perhaps unexpected given the lineup they have gone for. OL Lyonnes in control. Somba. Dumone. Not trying to play by Miyazawa. Tachiane back now to Sombath. Endler. Looking for a passing option. Here is Ingrid Engen. And now Damaris Egarola. Engen. Batcher. Let's pass into Heaps. Cut out well by Lisa Narsoon. That will be a OL Lyonnes throw-in on this near side. And there, Skinner and Roberts in some sort of discussion.
I don't think he'll be too disappointed. Also, of course, they are losing and yet to have a shot in this game. But when you do look at the stats and you look at the numbers, to be only a goal down inside the first 20 minutes is they could be in a lot worse situation.
Yeah.
Of course, he would expect better, but as we said at the start, I think Skinner putting out this lineup, he knew they were going to be in for a tough time.
I think they'd take a 1-0 loss tonight.
Yeah.
Doesn't look too bad on paper at all. And they've rested up some key players.
And
he's made a point to the board.
Yeah.
Who really need to invest. Batcher. Lovely that from Tabitha Chewinga to get around Riviere. Ball across the box. Cleared away well by my Leticia Egarola, receiving it on the edge. Now soon though does win it back. And now will carry it forwards, lifted out to the left-hand side, fairly aimlessly, and Mallard frustrated there because the more obvious pass was to knock her down the line, and instead she's gifted possession back to OL Lyonnes.
Yeah, when you're struggling in a game and you turn the ball over with the opposition half the pitch, the last thing you want to see your teammate do is just loft it straight back to them. Got to be more useful than that in possession, Man United.
Atletico goal, by the way, coming from the spots. That was Barisa. If anyone missed that, Atletico leading Bayern by a 1-0.
Now, for example, how this Champions League format has been so unpredictable.
Well, suddenly, Atletico Madrid are a point off the top four.
They have had not had a terrible campaign.
It would leave the favourites to qualify in the top four bracket as Barcelona, OL Lyonnes, Chelsea, and Juventus. Juventus obviously playing United next week. But if this sticks, you've had a great spot to get automatic quarter-final qualification. Considering that we haven't seen an Italian side in the knockouts since Roma in 23, 24.
Yes,
I
think
think.
so. Yeah. Yes, it's one of those where even if it isn't Juventus, it looks very likely that it will be a pot 2 side who take that last top 4 spot.
It's then Real Madrid, Atletico, and then the next highest pot 1 team is Wolfsburg. And that's Arsenal. Where have they come from?
Yeah.
How are they only a point off automatic quarterfinals? They would need quite the event next Wednesday, but it's not outside the realms of possibility if results stay the same as they are right now. Free kick now for OL Lyonnes. What can they make happen here? United holding their line. And well, the referee's going to go and have a conversation about pushing and the offside rule. Great. Ball in there from Batcha. Dangerous one, but no one can meet it. That'll bounce out for a goal kick.
I think the other thing, as we said for United, is the one thing that they lack, which I think is absolutely crucial on the European stage, is a bit of a fortress. I think you look at the other top clubs and they're not nice places, or some of them are not nice places to go, especially for these big games. I looked tonight and the 8-time Champions League winners are in town, and it's a really low attendance.
It's fascinating to me that PSG was at Old Trafford. I know Earp was back, but surely
I guess they want to pick a game that
Sandberg catching their brand in the box.
I think
we both games should have been at Old Trafford. That's the thing that we should be saying. Not which of the one game this year did they get to play at the men's stadium. They should be at Old Trafford for all their Champions League games at a minimum. Realistically, they should be looking at Old Trafford for all games. The transport links to the League Sports Village are awful. So especially for Champions League games, it's terrible. You just can't get transport at that, late in the evening. So
it's
there was no good reason why it couldn't be at United at Old Trafford tonight, because Manchester United in the Men's Champions League. No, they're not. And they used it on Monday, but to be fair, they were away for that game, weren't they? So there's absolutely zero justification why they're not at Old Trafford tonight.
And the men are on Monday night again. So they've got. And as you say, I think there'll be a bigger crowd. This should be a massive game. People should want to turn up and watch this one because it's a huge clash, but instead, it's a really low attendance. And that doesn't help.
Especially since the men's team haven't been in the Champions League for years, or at least haven't been competitive in the Champions League for years. You'd think there'd be quite a lot of men's United fans who would be, keen to go and watch their side.
Yeah,
the women's side play at Champions League football. Stoppage here, and that means we can take a look at the goal in the other game. Right, and let us know in the live chat. I just got the notification. It's Chelsea 2, Roma 0. Vika Katzine with the goal set up by Joanna Ritting-Carneries.
Needed.
And I did a video this morning talking about Vika Kaptine's lack of clinicality this season, and overall Chelsea's lack of clinicality. Kaptine, one of the biggest offenders in terms of XG underperformance, but that a big goal. And I mean, she's been excellent, I think, this season for Chelsea, despite that underperformance.
She's been good. Yeah, she's been good. But yeah, that's a much needed result for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge with the fans after losing your first OSL game in over 585 days, I think, to get back at home to Rome and to get 2 goals early doors is a very good start.
Of course, to be fair, it costs a fortune to use the big stadium. Census needs to be at a certain level to cover it. Yeah, but Manchester United couldn't stomach that sort of a possible financial loss, which I don't think they'd have.
Could they?
Yes, because Sergio Ratcliffe's fired everyone. That's why they can't host games then. No one works there. So that was probably the problem. They don't have anyone in there in the week. But yeah, I think you can stomach that short-term loss with the ultimate goal of bringing in that crowd.
Yeah, I get what Phil's saying, because I think Arsenal did it very well. But by selling out Boreham Wood every single week, it forced the team's hand to have to go play at the Emirates.
But the difference is Boreham Wood is in London, or outskirts of London. It has good transport links. The Leeds Sports Village does not have that. This is incredible, especially midweek. This is an incredibly difficult game to get to. So yeah, I totally. I think United needs to do more to sort of attract a fan base. I absolutely agree. But I do think there is a caveat that, it's difficult to get to. It's a midweek game. And I think United's fan base at the moment is predominantly young children.
It is, and I guess
So
that
there needs
does
to be
play
more
a
of a
part.
push
But
to
yeah,
sort of
there should be
fans over.
at least a couple thousand. At the very least, there should be a couple thousand that are there. Maybe they have just been really poor with the way they put the seats. Maybe there's loads on this near side of the camera. Hopefully, we'll get a shot of it at some point. But I mean, one end is completely empty. The standing end is completely empty, and the stand on the far side is patchy. So yeah, it's just one of those where I do find it interesting that United don't have. I thought you'd think they'd have a bigger fan base because of the fan base they've got in the men's. You thought it might go across, but, and it makes a difference on nights night because if Leon turn up,
to be fair, their fan base in the men's game all live in London. So really difficult to get to this game.
True. But yeah, it's one of those where if Leon turned up tonight and they had even if it was 5, 6, 7,000 Man United fans all giving them, not abuse, but making it horrible for them and supporting United, that's a lot more difficult than turning up and just because I'll be honest, while we've been talking, Leon just moved the ball around and United should chase them for 10 minutes.
Chiwenga. Now it's with Engen. Oh well, by Letitia.
But
not soon.
Part of me thinks United won't mind this. Just watch it. Just having Leon play around with the ball in their own half because it means they're not going to score.
Also, you have to justify the policing emergency service as well as the staff, and transport staff seems to forget how new the United women's team is. Yeah, no, I do get your point, Phil, but still, I think you can attract an audience if you put it at Old Trafford. You say we're awarding even one loyalty point. You will sell enough tickets, I would say, to. I mean, I assume United have loyalty points, the same as every other football club. You would sell enough tickets that it would make it worth it.
They must give out about 100 loyalty points every men's game. And watch that football.
Yeah, I think that's what more clubs should be doing to attract fans over is offer.
Well, Villa are doing it, aren't they?
Villa do it. No, it's not like the fans who are just fans on the side can't get a ticket.
Yeah.
Is it? So I think it'd be a nice way to incentivise more fans, especially because fans from the men's game are going to create more of an atmosphere. I think that can, it's a great way to entice fans. And it's not giving it away for free. Whereas, a lot of the time the push is, well, we'll give tickets to schools for free. And, that's nice, but that doesn't make money.
No.
But I guess then the argument is, especially at Wembley, they will buy a lot more stuff at the stadium. Good pressure from Awujo there on Engen. One back well, though, by Lyonnes in there. Dumournet.
I think tonight, for players like Awujo and Nelson, it's an opportunity to prove themselves against the best of the best. It's an opportunity to show that you do deserve to get more minutes and to start more games. But again, they're not having that impact. They're not having that they're not bringing that kind of level, and that does debate.
It's a difficult game to come into and bring your level. I think for Awujo, the bigger game was the PSG game, where
she still wasn't great.
But that's what I'm saying. I think she failed to impress in that one. But yeah, Awujo is one of those players who would have benefited from United being in the League Cup this season. Yeah.
And speaking of Nelson, she's just taken out Tatiana and got booked, so not going brilliantly for her either.
I think Lisa Nelson's one where we know she's not really top end WSL Champions League level quality, but United don't have the investment. This is the reason that Nelson and Rachel Williams were retained coming into this season.
Yeah,
it's cheaper to do that than have to go out and find replacements. And they're players who understand been around the squad, know the club well, enjoy. You know what you're getting from them in that environment. So unless you can go out there and get a strong upgrade, it's not really that incentive, is there? Without the investment. But I have to say, I can't see Rachel Williams signing another new deal at United. I expect this will be her last season, but you never know. I didn't think she'd re-sign at 37, so what's stopping her at 38?
True.
Heaps. Money's good, and she only has to play one game a year. And it's Abel Lyonnes. It's not a bad game to play, is it?
Lyonnes be loving this.
pressure there from Rachel Williams. Here's a Wujo. Skips past one. Heaps gets back in there. Well,
you can't
that's
afford to try and take on 3 players when you're playing OL Lyonnes. You just will not get past them.
Batcha. Now, Damaris Agarola.
Yeah, Lyonnes will be loving this because they are probably playing at about 70-80% at the moment, and they are dominating the ball. United, have you not had a shot yet? Surely they have.
I can't recall one. No. 7 shots to 0, 1 on target to 0.
That's not good enough. Really,
72% possession from Lyonnes to 28%. United pressure just 70 passes.
I didn't think that this would be the easiest Champions League game that Lyonnes had all season. I really didn't.
No. They pick up less of a fight than St Polten at the moment. How many shots does St Polten have? 6.
6 for United. Have got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, got to have 6 shots. First half for St Polten was 3 shots, 2 on target. 2 big chances created, both missed. So, big boots to fill there for United. Miyazawa. Now, George. Admittedly, that was a second string OL side. This is much closer to a full strength. Sandberg with the header down the line. Here's Rolfo. One back well in there by Tachiano. Muscles are off the ball much to the disgruntlement of the home support.
That was a foul.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was just physicality.
No, bundled her over.
Miyazawa now to Nasu.
Got to release the ball.
That run. And Tachiano back now to our goalkeeper Endler.
Even I'm getting a little bit frustrated with the lack of performance and lack of fight from United tonight. This was meant to be a huge Champions League clash, a big game between 2 really good sides. United haven't had a shot. They've been really pathetic in possession, not releasing, they're making the wrong decisions, and it's an absolute walk in the park at the moment for OL Lyonnes.
Batcha. Back now to Engen, looks to lift it in behind. Looking for the run of Ada Hegerberg. George, they will get there. Knocks it out of play, and George is annoyed there. She thinks that's taken a nick off Hegerberg. It hasn't.
No.
Oh, it has. United throw. Sometimes complaining does work.
That is a great spot from the referee, where both players were facing away from her.
Yeah.
They need something.
Yeah. Sends it up the line. Not dealt with there by Engen. Negarola under pressure. It's back to Alice Sombath. Engen. Sombath. Back to Engen. And now Sombath. Tachiane. Now Dumornay. And it's Agarola. Engen. Agarola. Machi Dumornay. Out now to the right hand side. Pass into the feet of Eula Brand. Now Dumornay. Here's Heaps. Plays it through the lines. Nice ball into Brand. And put out for a corner by Maya Letitia.
Yeah. Maya Letitia tracking the run there well off Brand. Another good move by Lyonnes. Lovely ball through from Hegerberg. But well seen out by Letitia. Another corner for Manchester United to deal with. As Lyonnes look to keep the pressure on. That'll be the saving grace at the moment for Manchester United, is that it is still only 1-0. Yes, they haven't had a shot, but all it will take is one shot to level the game. And that will be the one hope they've got.
Yeah, true.
Maybe that was the game plan. Rather than go full strength and then rest up towards the end, was to go a bit weak, go try and stay in the game, and then bring on the stronger players towards the end. We will see.
I somehow doubt it, but I mean, to be fair, they don't really have any other options than to bring on the stronger players.
True.
If they are going to make any subs. I mean, yeah, they're benched tonight. Galton, Park. They do have Mara Griffiths on there, but then Ziggiotti, Toon, Janssen, Blundell, and then Rendell and Patel. So
great bench. It's a great bench.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Bench, yeah. Yeah, hopefully we see. I'd like to see Matt Griffiths given an opportunity at some point this season. Been around that United squad, the 18-year-old.
What is happening here? I mean, that now it's brilliant football because someone managed to hold on to it.
Riviere driving it forward tip for Manchester United. Wide into Mallard. Tidy footwork now soon. Round the corner into Miyazawa. George into Sandberg. Now Rolf Pope. Waits for support of Sandberg. Uses it as a dummy to come inside. Miyazawa lifting it in the box. Big chance, but Mallard heads over. And Mallard looks over at the line. The flag's down. Big chance of LB Mallard. Timed it well.
Gosh, onside.
Was onside. Couldn't quite keep the header down. Should have left it with Rachel Williams lurking at the back post. But no, Mallard has to score that one.
First shot of the game for United, and I think you can make a good argument that should have hit the target and that should have gone in the back of the net.
Yeah.
That's a big opportunity for Mallard. Absolutely nothing for United. They could have been level there.
Dimorne. Tachiane. Drives it forwards. Now here's Heaps. Tries to play it through the lines. Riviere will get there. And leaves it for Tullis Joyce. Nasu. Miyazawa. Lisa Nasu. And now Letitia. Across to George. Tullis Joyce. And it bounces through to Agarola Tagiane. Now Sombath. Heaps. Tagiane. Now Sombath. Riviere heads it down to Melvin Mallard. And it's one hard the pitch here by Selma Batcher. Chawinga. Batcher. Engen. Now Tachiane. Sombath into Engen. And here comes Tabitha Chawinga. Plays it inside. Melchi Dumorne. Egarola. Now Batcher. Bounces it off of Dumorne. Engen. Egarola. And now Sombath looking to the right-hand side. Here's Eula Brand. Tidy footwork there from Brand, although nowhere to go. And Lyonnes recycling once again. Engen. Sombath. Slips it through the lines. Picked off by Awujo. And one back in there by Tachiane, who's brought down. And the theatrics certainly helped there, as she's awarded the free kick.
Yeah, Niall soon very smartly just walks away. The last thing that United need now is her picking up a second yellow card. Bit of a clumsy one. Here, does she get the ball? No, she does just kick Tachiane.
Yeah, she's got to be careful there. Lisa Nolstone is putting United in a difficult spot now.
It's one of those that saying that was only her second foul would have been harsh to get booked twice for 2 fouls and be sent off, but that in isolation is probably a yellow card. But of course, bit of game management, bit of common sense there from the referee. You're not going to send her off for that.
Free kick now for OL Lyonnes. Batcher. Ball in. And that heads up wide of the target, and considerably so from Melchi Dumorne.
Yeah, not quite utilising that free kick.
I think it might have been Tachiane, to be fair, both taking up a similar position. It was Egarola, actually, who got that touch.
He almost took it away from her teammate, which was probably the wrong thing to do. Yeah, only 2 minutes till the interval. I think United, if they can make sure they get into half-time 1-0 down, will probably not be too disappointed, saying the way that this first half has gone and the complexion of the match so far. I think 1-0 down would not be a terrible result. Still plenty to play for in the second half, despite the fact they have been below par. And Lyon really. Although, yes, they've had a lot of the balls. I think they've created many high-quality chances. Not really, but they've got the quality to really sting you.
Here is Lisa Nalsoon carrying that ball forwards, out now to the right-hand side with Melvin Mallard. Brilliant there from Dumoulin to get back in. Mallard plays it inside. Nalsoon can't quite squeeze the pass back. Tidy from Dumoulin into Heaps. And now Chawinga into Dumoulin. You can carry it forwards now. Nalsoon unable really to make a challenge. Given her precarious situation, is Dumoulin squaring up to Nalsoon. What can she do? Pauses on the ball. Now back to Batcher. Batcher puts it in there, head away by Letitia. And that's going to fall for Rolfo. United look to break away. Ryzen, thank you for the update in the chat. It is Chelsea 3, Roma 0. Joanna Ritten can't reach the goal, according to Ryzen. Waiting for the football notification, and there it is. Chelsea with a third in that game. Can't adding to the tally.
Again, good for Chelsea. That convincing performance definitely needed. And Carnereid with 2 goal contributions, which is good for her to be delivering some sort of output in that game.
Yeah, you don't get loads of goal contributions from Joanna Ritten Carnereid. You want to see more from her. But, yeah, good for her in that game. Minute of additional time in the first half here. Between Manchester United and OL Lyonnes. It's Lyonnes coming forward, looking for more. Heaps. Ball across the box, headed away by Sandberg. Eula Brand will look to keep this alive. Rolfo goes in. Brand rides the contact well, but then knocks it out of play. And that will be a throw-in. Half time in that game between Chelsea and Roma. Approaching our time. Atleti still leading Bayern Munich by a goal to 0. Bayern 11 shots, just 1 on target.
Wow. So a big 45 minutes there then for your Bayern to try and turn that around.
Rolfo try to send it forwards. Headed on by Brand, but she's off the field. That did come off a Lyonnaise player though, so that will be a throw-in for United. They're coming forwards now on the right-hand side, and that is the half-time whistle. Manchester United 0, OL Lyonnaise 1. Tara to Chawinga's early diving header, the differentiator in the first half here. And Manchester United rotated side has done well to hold Lyonnaise outside of that, but have offered very little coming forwards. The only opportunity here, Melvin Mallard header at point-blank range. That really should have been a leveller. But outside of that, it's been all OL Lyonnaise, and they lead by a goal to 0 going into the break.
Yeah, difficult first half for Manchester United, but as you say, the saving grace will be that they're only losing by a 1-goal margin. Lyonnaise having all of the ball and all of the play, but not really doing too much with it apart from that early goal for Chawinga. Since then, I wouldn't say they've really had many clear-cut opportunities to, strengthen their advantage.
0 big chances created. 1 shot on target mustered up between these two sides. Every shot on target in this game has gone in. Terrible stat for the goalkeepers. But 8 shots on Lyonnaise, struggling really to test Tullis Joyce when they probably should be doing more.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think that Garaudes will be happy with the control that his side have had in this game. They've been on the ball, they've dictated the tempo. It has been all one way, really, in terms of the momentum. But as you said, they're not doing enough with it. They've got to put pressure onto Tullis Joyce. You don't get me wrong, United have defended well, but the efforts have been tame and wild and really not punishing United for being below par. And it will be a source of frustration, as I said, for Garaudes, because we saw earlier with Barcelona how they didn't make their chances count in the first half, and Benfica punished them straight away within 30 seconds of the second half. So Lyonnaise have got to be careful. They don't allow United to get back into this game, despite how poor Manchester United have been. Yeah, for Lyonnaise, it's not been brilliant. I think they need to realise that on another day, they probably wouldn't be winning this game. If they played against a side that were offering them a bit more, then they probably wouldn't be in the position they're in. So they've definitely got to be careful. We saw it in the Juventus game how they really did struggle. Honestly, they would end up 3 goals behind at one point. But yeah, they've just got to be careful, Lyonnaise, because they are winning this game. But I think they're very much getting away with the fact that United have been miles off it.
So I think it's difficult to get a gauge on Lyonnaise. I think their schedule's been incredibly kind. They played a Wolfsburg side who I don't think have impressed really at this Champions League, despite their position in the table. I think Wolfsburg have got results against some pretty poor teams. And been rather fortunate in some of their results as well. That win over Volorenja was very fortunate. They got to play PSG, which is an absolute prize for the teams that have got to play PSG in this group stage. So, yeah, I don't think a win over Wolfsburg says loads about them. They beat Bolton. That was only 3-0. Granted, a rotated side, but they probably would have wanted to up their goal difference a little more there. They beat Arsenal. Arsenal were struggling. They were in a period, a patch where they struggled a bit, and they did concede early on in that game. And obviously then that Juventus game, last time out, where Juventus stormed to an early advantage, and OL Lyonnes in a 90th minute equaliser from Wendy Renard to take anything from that game. So it's not been entirely convincing from Lyonnes. However, they do sit second in the Champions League table. They are level on points with FC Barcelona, so it's not been bad either from Lyonnes. All I'm saying is it's difficult to truly get a gauge on where they sit right now. I think there's been a lot of rotation in the Champions League phase. They've been keen to rest some of those stronger players. They know as well that the Ligue 1, or the D1 Archima, I should say, or now Premier League Feminine, it changes name every year, seemingly. But the Premier League Feminine is pretty much wrapped up. No, they're only 3 points clear, to be fair. PSG have been flawless outside of losing 5-1, I think it was, to Lyonnes earlier, or 6-1, sorry, even worse, earlier in the season. But Lyonnes know they'll be comfortable in that. And once they've settled that up, their all attention goes to the Champions League. So we'll see how it goes for them. But yeah, they should see this game out. That'll put them in a really strong position to qualify automatically for the quarterfinals, especially with Bayern not getting the result as it stands against Atletico. You would expect they could turn that one around. We've seen them, you know, we've seen Bayern turn it around already this season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely so. I think they would want to turn that around. Atletico have been good this year, but this is not a position they should be beating. But yeah, I think it's massive credit to Lyon for the position they are in. But of course, the performances you also have to judge as well. And tonight is a kind of night where if United up it in the second 45, it's going to be a bit of a wake up call to Lyon. And I think this game is now really dependent on what Manchester United do now. Because if they come out and they're lacklustre again, they're really poor in the tackles, they're second best to everything, they're losing all the first and second balls, and they look really tired and just off the pace, then Lyon will just cruise through to a 1-0 victory. Maybe they'll get a second goal as well. But if United come out in this second half, make a couple changes, bring on their star players, move the ball around with a bit of pace, and really come at Lyon, that is going to be a huge test for the 8-time champions, and they're going to they're going to have to work for it. So I think this game is really dependent on what United do now, because as you say, teams like Juventus have been able to take advantage of Lyonnes not being up to scratch. United aren't doing that tonight because they've been worse somehow. But yeah, if United can raise their level, they're gonna either Lyonnes have to raise theirs as well, or United will get something out of the game.
Do United look at the fact that if they draw this game now, it would be in their hands to qualify? They could beat Juventus and they would finish in the top 4 as it stands. Obviously, if Bayern win, that does change things around. And so potentially they don't need to push for it really, because you'd expect Bayern will turn things around. But there is still that opportunity for Manchester United to get top 4. Arguably, if they could just play those top players now, win this game, beat Juventus, that takes 2 games out of February for them.
Yeah, it does.
Which could be really important. Obviously, if they do get some players in January, it could be a different case by then. But there is an argument to be made they could push for it now. I think the likelihood is that they would struggle to turn this fully around, even with the likes of Toon and Park. I mean, Toon not even on the bench, I don't think. That should be to be fair. But, you know, even with Toon, Park, Zigiotti coming on, would they turn this game around? Not necessarily. So it's all about managing that risk. But I think they're in an okay position right now. United, they could get a draw from this game, which would be a really good result. You would say, even with their second string side on the pitch. So yeah, I think they've just got to change their mentality. They're very deep at the moment, very negative. I think they could go for this a little bit more. Push, bring on maybe Jess, even if it's just Jess Park, push Mallard up front. You've suddenly changed that team a lot. Because, I don't think Mallard's doing much on the right wing, which is understandable. We know Melvin Mallard isn't a right winger. She's a striker or left winger. I think she's best up front, though.
Yeah.
She's not really a right winger. She's not having the desired impact. Bring on someone like Jess Park. Give Jade Riviere a little bit more license to get forwards and go for the game a little bit more.
Yeah.
So to ask how... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely. I think you mentioned weighing up the kind of the pros and cons and how they want to play it now. But I think you look at it now, the second string side have gone out and kept the game at 1-0. You're still in the game. You've got the opportunity to win it. But also, you've got 3 days after this game. They are the last kickoff on Sunday. So they've got 3 days until the game against Tottenham after this one. But also they're at home. They haven't got to spend a day travelling. They haven't got to get back to Manchester. They are at home tonight. So it's not like it's going to fatigue players massively. Don't bring them all on. Don't make 5 changes and bring all your best players on. But yeah, just 1 or 2. Even if you just bring on Ziggiotti and Park, you're going to completely change the game. And suddenly put a lot of pressure on OL Lyonnes to respond. So yeah, for me, United have got to go for it now. They've kind of... Yes, it hasn't been very good, but it's been good enough to give themselves a chance in the second half. They've now got to put themselves in the best position to make that chance count.
I think as well that the thing about the Tottenham game is it's not just the fact that they could be behind Tottenham and Arsenal in the table and obviously then slip out of the Champions League places. It's the fact it's Tottenham and it's Martin Ho.
Yeah.
I think Skinner knows he can't afford to lose to Martin Ho.
Yeah.
That is a truly terrible result, given he is his former assistant. So, yeah, I think there'll be that added sort of desire to win that game. I think that's probably why we're seeing the strategy that they've gone for this evening. But yeah, I think they're still in an okay position now, and that is, really good given the team that's out there tonight. So yeah, we'll see what happens. As Ato asks, how surprising is it that Juve is currently 4th in the table with 1 match left against United? Very surprising. I think Juventus have absolutely maximised their chances in this competition. I think the fact that they got United as a pot 3 team is really unlucky, actually, because they've done incredibly well against some top sides. They started against Benfica. It wasn't an incredible performance, but they got the job done. They then played Bayern Munich. I thought that game they actually deserved more than they got. They didn't get anything from it. I think they deserved at least a point. They're very unlucky. It's a 95th minute winner from Lea Schuler. They then played Atletico and OL Lyonnes in the last Champions League matches, and a win over Atletico because I don't rate Atletico that highly. They did really well in that game, and a massive draw with OL Lyonnes. So I don't think Juventus had a easy schedule by any stretch of the imagination, and they've done incredibly well. They've made it life difficult for the top sides. They've beaten the teams they should have beaten, in Polton and in Atleti and in Benfica. And now they're in a position where if they can beat United next week, provided the results tonight stay the same, they'll be in the top 4 of the Champions League, which is automatic qualifications to the quarterfinals. So very surprising. I thought if there was going to be a big shock, it was going to be one of the teams with a really kind schedule. No, I think. Now I'm trying to think back to when we spoke about it at the start of the season. Who had a really nice schedule. I think Real Madrid's has been really nice.
Yeah.
But they did well against Wolfsburg, but a couple dropped points. Drew with Paris FC. They really shouldn't have. If they'd won that game, they would be. They'd currently be in the top 3. So yeah, that was the big one. Obviously they also lost to Arsenal. I think that shows where Real Madrid are at right now. But they had one of the kindest schedules in the Champions League, and they haven't fully maximised it. But they did do well to beat Wolfsburg.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're a side that they've still done well, saying that I don't think the domestic performances were there at the start of the season. I don't think any of the performances were at the start of the season. But Juventus, for me, have done extremely well, especially when you consider they should have beat OL Lyonnes. Let's be honest, it was a great draw, but at 3-0 up against any team in the world, you should hold on to that, really, if we're being realistic. And as you say, I think they should have got a point against Bayern Munich. So suddenly that's 3 more points there, and that would put them top?
That'd be top of the Champions League.
It's one of those where I think the performances have merited those results to be top. Obviously they didn't get those results, but yeah, to be where they are is fantastic, and it's deserved. As you say, they haven't had the kindest fixtures. They haven't, got the rub of the green in this game here and there. They have to work hard for it. If anything, they've got a bit unlucky in certain games, but yeah, they've done very, very well to get through what has been a very difficult fixture list. Of course, they did avoid Chelsea and Barcelona, but Bayern Munich and Lyonnaise are hardly. No pot one game was ever going to be easy for Juventus. So the fact they took a point away from out of those two games is not bad at all. But yeah, I think that'll be another really tough test for United next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk Bayern, because at the moment a loss to Atleti wouldn't be an ideal result. They've done really well to come back from that early shock against Barcelona, where they lost 7-1 the opening match week. They've climbed their way back up the Champions League table, but now with the result as it stands tonight, they would be down to 10th.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Obviously, a long way to go in that game, and they'll back themselves to turn it around. But we know, Atletico have been very good this year, so it's not going to be an easy turnaround as such in that second half. But yeah, I've been impressed with Bayern. Again, I don't think the 7-1 to Barcelona represented their quality, and they'll be frustrated by that game. I think they used that to push on and go and get some good results. I thought the Arsenal game was fantastic in that second half. That turnaround seemed to really ignite their campaign as well. That was a big, big point for them in the Champions League, because if they'd lost that game, then they would be in a very, very tough situation as of right now. So yeah, massive credit to them for that. And I think that they've done well to get the job done in the other games. But yeah, I think Bayern need to turn that one around, put themselves in the better position. But overall, I don't think they'll be pretty happy. Saying they lost 7-1 in the opening match week, they'll be pretty happy with where they sit right now.
I think a loss to Atleti would be a massive underperformance. Though I really don't think Atletico are particularly good. They've won 2 games this Champions League schedule. That was Bolton and Twente. Outside of that, they've been really uncompetitive, especially that United game where they played a majority of it with a player advantage, and then couldn't do anything with it, and then got sent off themselves. But yeah. Change here for Manchester United. It's Julia Ziggiotti, Olma, and Ella too.
Well, we said they need to do this, so they need to go for it. Need to take the opportunity, and they're exactly what they're doing.
I am confused by the choices, though.
I thought Ziggiotti, definitely. They've got absolutely nothing in that midfield. Nelson's going to get herself sent off, and that is why she's coming off.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't necessarily disagree with that one. I just think the problem is you're not dealing with triple change. Okay, they are dealing with the problem.
Rachel Williams, no hat-trick.
Nalsuna, Wujo and Williams make way, and it'll be Ziggiotti, Olma, Toon apart. That makes more sense to them. They are fully going for it. I think the problem areas for me were centre-half and striker, and you could have solved that in 2 subs and then had a luxury one in the field.
I spoke about that strategy earlier, but it's exactly what Skinner has done. Sent the second string side out there, and then in his mind he was thinking, if we get played off the park and we're losing, we'll just put up with it for 45 minutes. But if we're still in the game, then we'll go for it. It's a risky strategy, but if they do now turn it around, then it's going to pay off.
And Park 2 and Ziggiotti have had 45 minutes of rest.
Exactly.
Which is important given their schedule. So here we go. Can United turn this on its head? Well, we're about to get back underway here at the League Sports Village. Ada Hegberg from the middle. Waiting for the referee's whistle to get us back underway. And Hegerberg knocks it back. We're back underway here at the League Sports Village. Manchester United 0, OL Lyonnes 1 at half time. United now with some big important substitutions. Park 2 and Ziggiotti onto the field. Can they make the difference? Well, early pressure there from Jess Park, but she does bring down Selma Batcher, and that will be a Lyonnes free kick. And OL Lyonnes going the opposite way of United. They are going to try and slow this game down as much as possible, because it doesn't take 20 seconds to kick a ball. Batcher launching it long. Riviere wins the first contact. Ziggiotti. And now Park. Back to Julia Ziggiotti. Shifts it inside and can't quite get there. And that gives possession away to Eula Brand. The pass, though, picked off by Ziggiotti. And immediately, there is so much more energy in that United midfield. Brand round the corner, picked off by Ziggiotti. Mallard leading the line. Can't quite pick up on that one. Ball played back from Engen to Endler. Ball long. It's a 1. Well in there by Letitia, and Miyazawa there. Dragged out by Hegerberg. That'll be United free kick.
Yeah, United already a bit more positive. If they can get a foot on the ball and just start to carve out some opportunities, they're really going to test. Lyonnes in the second half.
George into Laetitia. Here's Sandberg. Back to Gabby George. And now it's with Tallis Joyce. Laetitia. Pass out to Riviere. Back to my Laetitia. Well, United bring off their second string and put on their important players. It seems Chelsea have gone the other way. Kira Walsh subbed off at half-time. Lexi Potter getting 45 minutes of football. Zigiotti as she caught Brand there. Well, she's going to get a yellow card for it.
And that, as a manager, is a disaster. You bring off a defensive midfielder who's on a yellow card, and within 2 minutes, the defensive midfielder...
Let's do what, eh?
I tell you what,
on the edge there.
Zigiotti is very lucky that Dumoné's touch was away from goal, because that has saved her from a potential red card. She was definitely the last player, but yeah, that touch from Dumoné was going the wrong way.
Free kick now on the edge. Batcher waiting over it. What can she do from this sort of range? What damage can Selma Batcher deal? Literally, the ball might as well just be in the penalty area.
Yeah.
How close this is.
It's almost too close to anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes across goal here, Batcher. Selma Batcher steps up, does exactly that, and doesn't quite get the curve she would have wanted on that one.
Yeah, just, I think, wrong type of shot for that idea. As you say, right idea but wrong execution. If you're going to go across the goal, you're not looking to curl it into the top corner on the goalkeeper's side. You need to drill that.
Yeah.
Just need to drill that flat and hard towards either the bottom or top corners. Just try to curl it in there, even if it had gone target.
Yeah, with that sort of area, not trying to catch the goalkeeper out with the movement, because the goalkeeper's too close.
So stand there and pick it up.
You need the pace, you need the power to catch the keeper out, and the fact that you're going on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So yeah, would have been an incredibly well struck curved effort as well.
Yeah.
To get enough whip on that. Sombath Brand. Comes inside. Tarchiani inverts well, but loses out to Miyazawa. Now Park tries to poke it forwards. Drops for Zigiotti. Now Laetitia. The other thing is you've subbed on 3 players who've done this before. Played in this kind of game before.
Oh, what a ball.
Now Rolfo. Speaking of a player who's done this before. Freeland Rolfo. Back to Sandberg. Into Ella Toon. And she's gone too early there, and that is disappointing for Ella Toon.
Yeah, felt like it. But yeah, just sloppily just managed to drift offside there in that move. Didn't need to do that.
And Chelsea find a 4th in that game, a penalty converted well by Sioka Nuska. That has been an excellent display thus far from the Blues.
Yeah, much needed route that for Chelsea, and I think sums up Roma's Champions League campaign.
4 goals, and well highlighted in the video today on Chelsea, their inability to finish chances, but 10 shots, 4 goals, 6 on target, 5 big chances in that game as well. That's been a really good display in front of goal, really clinical display from Chelsea. Ryan says Nusken on the pitch is the headline there. Yeah, true. Has had a load of minutes this season. Obviously, came back from an injury. Picked up an injury, I think, at the Euros. Started this season with a bit of a knock. Didn't get a load of opportunities, but is now starting to play a little bit more. Surprising she didn't start at the weekend, given that Cuthbert was out. Instead, opting Bon Pastor for Hermano and Macario alongside Nusken in the midfield 3. I would have expected to see Nusken, but there we go. Maureen says United need to be clinical. United need to start taking some shots. So, it's not like they've missed. I think, Mallard missed a big opportunity. Outside that, they have not had a chance. I think United need to be more positive, which they
Yeah.
are in the second half.
It does feel like they won't get many chances.
Down.
They need to create more, but when they do create those chances, they have got to take them.
Yeah. Sombath.
Oh, that's a bit of a mistake.
Miyazawa putting more pressure on it. Brilliant recovery there from Alice Sombath, who gets back in. Now goes back to a goalkeeper. Under pressure there. That's a mistake from Endler. It's out of play. United. You just sense they're starting to believe. Leon are rocked a little bit.
Yeah.
That is important.
They've been caught out. They've been caught out by the reaction from Man United. And even in the stadium, you sense there will be a bit of a feeling that United can get right back into this
That
one.
won't last long, though. Ball in behind into the hands of Endler. You've got to capitalise quickly. Sam goes back to the strings. As much as Letizier's not been at the best for the past few games now, she's been solid so far tonight. I think she could have done better in the build-up to the goal. I think that was a big mistake from her that led to the opportunity for OL Lyonnes that then was recycled into that goal. But broadly, yeah, I think she's been a lot better than she has in recent weeks. But yeah, big error that led to that goal. So still, uncharacteristically poor from Letizia.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think that's what it has been. I think that obviously it's not like she's been rubbish or been terrible in every game, but it's just been she'll be having just a pretty solid game, and then there'll be a mistake or something that happens. The Brighton game away, she's having a normal game, doing all right, and then just completely misjudged the ball, and Seike ran through and scored from it.
Yeah, she's still Maya Letizia. The difference is we're used to seeing a player who's absolutely flawless, and there have been a lot of high-profile errors recently.
Yeah,
and today's no different in that. I think massively at fault for that goal.
But then I think it's just weird to see a player do everything right for 89 out of 90 minutes, but there'll be a minute in there where she just makes that error, and it can lead to goals.
Well, there have been other mistakes in there, to be fair, in more recent games. So it's been a little different, but a little better. But yeah, I just think she's massively fatigued. Martin says she's played so much football this season. Is there any surprise?
Absolutely.
That it's been that way.
Yeah, game opening up a little bit. Doing well to get down the left hand side here. Sandberg wins it back, and then he's fouled by the OL Lyonnes winger. But you definitely feel like this game could come a lot more end to end. That's really good football for United to get out.
Yeah.
Tune to Park.
Park trying to come inside. Pass back now into George. Letizia. Zigliotti. Letizia down the line into Riviere. Park. Toon back to Jess Park. Lovely football. Out now to the left-hand side. Here's Rolfo. Lovely footwork there from Rolfo. Park. Miyazawa. Shifts it wide. Not enough on that from Hinata Miyazawa. But she does get back in there and recover it off Tarchiane. Zigliotti. Lovely pass around the corner. Miyazawa's fouled, but there's an opportunity here. Ball in mind from Sandberg. Mallard's gone too early and the pass is over here anyway.
Yeah, again, it's better. Much better for United, but you still feel it's a little bit sloppy in attacking areas. That final ball just isn't coming off. They've definitely raised the game, but they're still not troubling Lyonnes. That will be the main concern.
I think Miyazawa's another one who's looked really tired this season.
Yeah.
Really struggling with that fatigue. But yeah. Throw in now on the far side, Batcher. Dumornay. Great knock. A bit too much on it though, actually, from Elchi Dumornay. Looking to stretch the pitch, but trying to stretch it too much.
Yeah. Again, Lyonnes will get opportunities now because United are going to leave a little bit more space available. And that would be the problem is if United aren't creating chances and aren't going to score a goal, the space they leave trying to do that is going to be punished by Lyonnes.
Yeah. Rolfo. Well, one in there by Damara Segarola. Dumornay. Now Heaps. Brand. Driving the ball forwards. Picked off in there well. Now two. Park. Back to Letizia. Lifting out to the right-hand side to Jess Park again. Who's under pressure there from Chawinga. And Chawinga makes the challenge and forces Park off.
Yeah. United felt that should have been their ball, but I think Park was just forced to run out of play there. Yeah, still better from United, but I haven't seen that burst happened, a bit of energy, but now it feels like it's not quite there yet.
Miyazawa shifts it into Ella Toon. United coming forwards now. Nice stuff from Toon. Now Rolfo in this wide position. Back to Toon into Sandberg, who gets the wrong side of Tarchiane. Ball across the box. Too high for Melvin Mallard. Park. Cut back to Riviere. Now Letitia. Momentum shifted in this game. Can United kick on? Can they find that equaliser? Gabby George. Wide into Sandberg. Ball in. And that's claimed for out. And off her line. Makes the good claim.
Yeah, again, good reaction from United, but that final ball still lacking. Need to get more shots off. Need to put more pressure onto Endler and that Lyonnes back line.
And Egarola down. Liam Poggio says, great signing, Rolfo. Absolutely. When we spoke earlier on the show about how United have stretched a limited budget, brought in some really talented players. Frida Rolfo, no greater example of that than her. A player coming in from Barcelona, a free transfer as well.
Yeah, and she's massively made a difference in the Champions League. You know, her goals have been absolutely crucial. Scored against Atletico Madrid, scored against Wolfsburg. Rolfo,
one of the very few players in this squad who have played Champions League football.
Yeah, exactly. And it's telling, and it's the main reason they signed her is because she can make the difference on nights like these.
Yeah, absolutely. Liam also asked, do we think Rodman comes to the WSL? Well, we did a video on that not too long ago. I think it will either be the WSL or staying at the Spirit. Again, we can't really be sure at the moment. They're trying to throw money at her, the NWSL. I wouldn't be surprised if she did stay, but I think if she is coming to the WSL, her most likely options are either a very rogue move to London City or potentially one of Chelsea or Arsenal. The only reason I'd rule out Arsenal at the moment is because they've got so many wingers, but who knows?
Imagine United hadn't got her. Found some money. Jim Ratcliffe had to part with his money.
The problem is, I mean, United are looking at a winger, aren't they, to replace Celine Bizet. Obviously, great news for Bizet that she is pregnant. It's sort of the worst kept secret because when a player just disappears from the squad and no one says anything, you can sort of guess what's happened. But yeah, obviously don't like to speculate before we know. But yeah, that was announced earlier this week. Or last week, I think, actually.
Yeah.
That is lovely news for her.
I'm sure
But it does mean United need a winger.
Mark Skinner was probably very happy for her, but then also realised the now problem he has with a gaping hole on his right hand side.
Leah Galton suddenly re-emerged.
He just face palmed.
The Bayern Munich penalty missed by Gilio Gwyn.
That's huge. Oh, I've got Gwyn in my...
But yeah.
That's a big moment in that game.
Dumornay. Brilliant there. Shrugs off Zigiotti excellently. Melchi Dumornay into Tabata Chewinga. Ball in, it's blocked. Falls now to Hegerberg. Swivels on it, but the shot goes wide.
Wrong decision that from Hegerberg. Good foot from Lyonnes again. Great ball in to find Hegerberg, who had options. Could have laid it to Brands. Could have laid it into Tarchiane. Instead decided to take it on the turn. And yeah, just got it horribly wrong.
Liam says, just like the channel, subscribe. Good to see a page that consistently follows and discusses the women's game. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. I'm glad you've enjoyed the show enough. And that goes to anyone else who is watching tonight's show for the first time. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the push now to 7,000 subscribers. So if you are new and haven't hit subscribe, please make sure to do so. And he says, I'll catch up on the videos. Fair enough. There's only 533 to go. Many of those live streams over the last 2 years, but
all videos that wouldn't make sense anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean you can go in chronological order. That's A lot of videos to get through. But yeah, no, we have got, there's been some, I think, some nice ones recently. Or some good ones recently. So yeah, feel free to go through the catalogue. Throwing now on this near side. Dumont back to Tachiane. And across now to Ingrid Engen. Batcher. Pass down the line. Here's Chewinga. Back to Batcher. Lovely stuff from Lyonnaise. Cut out well. Drops 4 heaps. Hegerberg can't quite pounce on that bouncing ball. Toon. Caught out there well. And now here come Lyonnaise. Heaps. Out wide to Chewinga. Can she make something happen here? Tabata, Chewinga, Batcher. Great pass there. Finds Heaps in a pocket of space. Dumont. Now Batcher. Driving inside with purpose. Takes aim from range. Can't quite keep that down though. Salma Batcher. That shot sailing over the bar. United though, they've made their changes. Haven't quite found that goal yet. Haven't quite broken Lyonnaise down. What do they do now? Do they throw the kitchen sink at the game? Or do they deal with the impending
Oh my days.
double substitution of Katoto and Diani?
I would see those 3 players coming off the bench and I'd just lie on the floor and and cry because what is the point?
Surely they turn to Dominic Janssen now.
I don't know. I think you stick it out. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Oh, it's all right. Corbin Albert's coming on as well.
Oh, and I guess the other argument would be is that one of George or Sandberg has to start on Sunday. So you might want to bench one of them. You want to give one of them a rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe do turn to Janssen, but at the end of the day, any team bringing on Diani and Katoto with 26 minutes to play is just ridiculous.
Also, just having a natural centre half to deal with that threat.
Yeah.
Is more thinking, but
I think Skinner would have hoped that the subs would have made more of a difference, and they still haven't had a shot if they
United
subs came on.
No, not a shot in the second half. Their only shot was that early opportunity for Melby Mallard.
They've had more of the ball, don't get me wrong, and they've looked more positive.
But second half, 55% possession. They've dictated the tempo.
They've created absolutely nothing with it though.
Yeah,
and I think that will be the point of frustration for Mark Skinner.
It's tidy from Chewinga.
How's she still got the ball?
To carry it forward as well. Now shifts it wide into Lindsay Heaps. We've got a goal in one of the other Champions League games. We'll go to that in a moment. Lyonnaise coming forwards. Chewinga falls backwards to Batcher. That's a nice opportunity. Atletico Madrid 1, Bayern Munich 1. Finally, Bayern find a goal. And who else but Pernilla Harder? How many times has she bailed them out already this Champions League campaign? That would be a useful point, but it would still leave them in need of results to go their way in the final game week. They would need United to take something off Juventus, and they'd need Real Madrid to lose or draw to FC Twente, which doesn't seem remarkably likely. So
yeah,
Bayern need a goal if they want to get into the top 4.
They do, but you'd expect them to now push on and use that Pernilla Harder effort as momentum.
Still half an hour to play in that match, so
there is going to be a barrage on that Atletico Madrid goal.
Yeah, and if they haven't brought on Lea Schuler, I imagine they will shortly. Yeah, they haven't brought her on yet, so still got Lea Schuler to come on. Yeah, Brand being forced backwards there by Sandberg. Now Heaps. Tachiane, Heaps. Lyonnaise, sorry, just sat on the edge of the box. Can they find a way through? Batcher. Chewinga, lovely turn there. Wants to take on Jade Riviere down the touchline. Nice footwork here from Chewinga, the goal scorer. And now has the beating of Riviere. Brilliant from Chewinga. Ball in and it's blocked away. Really well there by Letizia at the front post. Good on for Lyonnaise player then, and it's out for a goal kick. That may give Lyonnaise, and it will give Lyonnaise the opportunity to make a threatening triple change. Diani, Katoto, and Corbin Albert.
Yeah, not the trio you want to see coming on as an opposition player when you're chasing the game already.
So that'll be a like for like. Katoto for Ada Hegerberg, who needs a little assistance to leave the field of play with any haste. That'll be Tabata Chewinga making way for Kanadia Diani. That will likely see Brand, I think, move to the left-hand side.
Potentially.
And then we're going to see another change. Just Corbin Albert coming on. Not sure right now as to who is coming off, though. And it will be Lindsay Heaps.
I would say going more conservative and just freshening the pack, but I don't ever think that bringing on Diani and Gatoto is going more conservative.
No. Not at all.
Now Man United have got to handle a new test while also trying to find an equaliser of their own.
Yeah. Very true. Well, they've got under high pressure here, but they've played out really well. Miyazawa into two. Lovely move there from United to bypass the press. Here's Mallard. United have numbers forward here. Melvin Mallard drives it forwards. Poor
wrong decision. Wrong decision from Mallard.
Got to be better in the final third. Here's Ziggiotti. Just tried to play it into a crowd of bodies. Riviere, ball in. Endler up to claim it. Claims it well.
So good from Endler. Bold goalkeeping. Gets there first and claims it. But United, good opportunity on the breakaway, and Mallard just makes the wrong decision. Should have laid it into two or had a go herself. Instead, tried to pick out Rolfo, despite the fact she was stood right behind Tachiane. Was always going to be a difficult one to pull off.
Endler. Now with Engen. Sombath. Tachiane. Egarola, that's over the head of Schrader. Dancing forwards, Corvin Schrader. Dumornay. Here's Ingrid Engen. Keep thinking there's been more Champions League goals. It's just EFL Championship goals. Ollie McBurney and Hull are not in the Champions League phase. Thatcher. Egarola, nice pass around the corner into Sombath. And now Schrader. Dumornay. Heaps. Sombath. Diani. Schrader. Lovely turn. Egarola looks to feed it in behind. Turned over though by Sandberg. Now two. Shifts it wide into Jess Park. One back in there well by Eula Brandt. Dumornay. Schrader. Thatcher. Back now to Dumornay. Tachiane. Plays it down the line. Here is Diani. Into Katoto. One back by Rolfo. Chance for United. George. They've got to seize moments like these. Two. Slips it through the lines. Tries to force it. This one back again by UWCL Lyonnes.
What a tackle.
Fantastic chance there from Riviere to stop the ball through. From Dumornay. Miyazawa. Two. Turns out nicely. Into Park. Lovely move from Jess Park inside. Miyazawa back to Park. Brilliant give and go into Rolfo. Who chops back inside. Chance for United. Cuts it back. Mallard on the edge. Space to shoot. The touch is too heavy. Miyazawa can't get there ahead of Dumornay. One back though by Sandberg. Here's Ziggiotti. 20 to play here. Toon. Riviere. Corner there from Park and that. Too casual.
Ooh. This is really hanging in the balance. Neither side can really hold on to the ball. This is the kind of game where not much has happened. Yes, United only had one shot, but it feels like it's going to end with a bang. It's simmering up nicely for a big end, big finale.
Letitia. George. Now Miyazawa. Park. Just trying to force her way through there. No room at the inn. No space for her to drive into. Riviere. Zigiotti, Riviere. Now Letitia across to George. Miyazawa. Now Zigiotti into the overlapping run of Riviere. Nice move. And Schrader gets back in there and smashes it out.
Got to use it.
Corner now for Manchester United.
Got to use this. You had one shot in the whole game, and you've won yourself a corner. United have got to make sure that a red shirt makes first contact with this. Got to be a good ball in from the Sandberg, and someone in a Manchester red shirt has got to get their head on this.
Yeah.
Can't just go in at the near post and be cleared by the first man. But they've got aerial threat in there. Got players they can use. Need to make this count, Man United. They are running out of time.
Ball into the area, headed away. Drops now for Diani. Park, Sandberg. Flicked on well, drops now for Rolfo and catches that all wrong. And United's second shot of the game.
Half-hearted.
Not one that's going to trouble the keeper.
Really half-hearted from Rolfo. Just, backed out of it, didn't fancy it. Just stepping up from Engen was enough to put her off. Not a bad ball in from Sandberg. Flicked on brilliantly by George. And Rolfo just swung a timid leg at it. That's not good enough at this stage of the game. Got to back yourself with a bit of conviction.
Yeah, time slipping away. United will now make that change. Anna Sandberg leaving the field. And that will be Dominic Janssen. So Janssen will slot into centre half. And that will be Gabby George out to left back. And Bayern have brought on Leia Schuler as well as they chase the win there. Chelsea making luxury changes. Gura Reiter getting on for the last 20 minutes. To an update around the grounds. Here is Sombath. Full forwards. Katoto does brilliantly. Miyazawa picks it off well. Here come United. Numbers committed forward. Miyazawa into Mallard. Trying to shift it wide. And it's won back by Dumonet. And here come OL Lyonnes. Now Diani. Plays it through to Dumonet. Gets around George. Ball in. Brand. Can't quite get it to Katoto. Drops on the edge for Schrader. And now OL Lyonnes. Forced backwards. Batcher.
No one backs himself in a United shirt at the moment. That breakaway there, Miyazawa was always looking to shift it. Probably wasn't the wrong decision, but still. And then gave the ball to Mallard, who once again was always looking for that pass.
Goal number 5 in the game between Chelsea and Roma. It is Micah Hamano set up by Guro. Thank you, Ryzen, as well, for letting me know. And Liam asks, is Guro leaving at the end of this season? There's definitely a possibility. There's a few Chelsea players out of contract. I think about 8 first-teamers out of contract. There'll be a lot of discussion over the next few months about who will stay and who will go. Amongst those, the likes of Hannah Hampton. I would be very surprised if she was one that left. Katoto out now to the left-hand side. Batcher. Ball into the box. And that's headed away by Zigiotti. Schrader. Tarciano. I think the bigger conversation at Chelsea will be around the likes of Millie Bright, of Kat Macario.
Carnereed.
Yeah, Carnereed will be another big discussion. I think who else is up for renewal now? I feel like Beaver Jones is in that list as well, but I think she's got a 1-year option in her contract. Wrighton, obviously. Sam Kerr. A lot of big name players who are sort of been staples at Chelsea, but are now getting on a little bit. Brandt, ball into the box, chance!
Ooh.
And that, 2 players in the penalty area for OL Lyonnes couldn't quite meet it. Toto, Mandiani, Dimornay. Now Schrader. Dimornay. Liam says, makes way for Rodman. Well, that could be the option. I mean, I think Chelsea need a right winger anyway. They've only really got Carney as a natural right winger. Dimornay gets around Rodfo well, cuts it back, chance now, and that from Brand is not what they needed.
That is a huge left off.
Straight to the keeper.
Too easy from Rolfo. Just let Dumone walk past her into the penalty area. Way too easy. And yeah, cuts about a Brand who really should punish. Another chance for Lyonnes to kill this game off, but alas, United are still alive.
Now to the right-hand side, Park. Zigliotti. Back now to Letitia. Now to George.
Gouton getting ready.
Why has Janssen come on at left back?
Oh, hang on, yeah. What's happening there?
I guess I don't want to upset the midfield, the back two that played there all game.
That does not matter at all. You've got a centre half playing left back and a left back playing centre half.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Never change much.
Yeah, I was going to say. Robert Villar must be on the bench.
Gowan's about to come on in midfield.
Right back. Phil says, I think Rodman will stay in Washington. Terrible look for NWSL if they're seen as forcing her to Europe. Yeah, I think it. Part of it will come down to Rodman's personal preference, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did want to move to Europe. I think NWSL will pull out all the stops. It depends on Rodman's personal preference, really. Yeah, I think that, there's opportunity either way. If she stays in America, then she will be the face of the NWSL because so many others have left. Now, I think once Sophia Wilson's back from injury, I wouldn't be surprised if she looked at a move to Europe. I think, obviously Thompson, Germer, players like that have already departed. Lily Johannes is in Europe.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more European stars go. So there's the opportunity for her to be the face of the NWSL. But equally, she's in a relationship with Ben Shelton, who most of the tennis tournaments are in Europe. There's one major in the US. More of the sort of minor tournaments, I believe, are in Europe. I mean, obviously the big ones like Wimbledon. I know there's 4 majors, and the US is still a huge tournament, but there aren't a lot of these sort of minor competitions aren't in the US. Tend to be dotted across Europe. Diani carries the ball forward. So, ball into the box. Blocked well by George. And that's cleared away too. Back now to Miyazawa. And that's one back well.
It's not been United's night, has it? Things are just not linking up. Everything just seems a bit... I can't think what the word is now. Clunky. It's the best word to put it.
Liam says, I imagine Chelsea will let big wage players like Kerr and Wrighton out. And they could probably earn huge wages in the US League. Yeah, I think obviously the US has different rules around. You get certain players in the US that sort of don't catch the budget cap. So you can get players from abroad. A mental set of rules. Glad we don't have to think about them too much covering the WSL, but yeah, so players like that could get a lot of money out there, and you think that could be a good move. Chance now for Dumornay. Let's fly! Melchi Dumornay. And just as we thought United might get back into this game, a world-class player comes up with a world-class strike. Melchi Dumornay. What a player, and what a hit that is.
Yeah, as you say, the game was petering out, becoming nervy. Could have gone either way. And Dumornay has just bagged the 3 points for Lyonnes. Really good strike, her 3rd goal of the tournament. What an effort that is. Just given half a yard by Zigliotti is too easy. You can't allow Melchi Dumornay to get half a yard in the area. That is just ridiculous. That is just absurd. Just absurd. Half a yard, bang. And I'll be honest, Tully's choice was I've seen it leave her foot, and then a second later it was in the top corner. Didn't stand a chance. Hit with such conviction.
feel like we constantly forget just how good Melchi Dumont
That's
is.
ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Goal, by the way, in the game between Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich, and Bayern have completed the turnaround. Pernilla Harder at the brace to bail out Bayern.
Again.
Again.
Some things are inevitable in life, and Pernilla Harder scoring in the Champions League is one of them.
So it looks like all of the sides we expected to win this evening are going to claim victories, and that will mean that the top four is all but sealed because, well, I mean, Chelsea have a very tough game against Wolfsburg, to be fair, so
yeah,
I go either way, but that does mean now that Barcelona, the only way Barcelona could be knocked out is if Juventus and Real Madrid both claim 9-0 wins in the last game and Barcelona lose.
If Mark Skinner throws his team out again,
FC.
Might be on the cards.
True. But yeah.
Yeah, do you know what would happen? Juventus and Real Madrid would win 9-0, but Barcelona would still somehow would better still beat Paris.
Because I don't think the exception rule is in place in the NWSL. Is it not? I thought that's why Marta was able just to stay in the NWSL and earn loads of money for years. I might be wrong. I know it's in the MLS. I assumed they've had it in the NWSL. It makes sense to have it, but yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Interesting to see what happens next summer. As the money starts to go up, who will break the transfer record? I mean, obviously at the moment we don't know what the world transfer record is. It's just stupid situation to be in. Because
ridiculous. Michelle Kang and her fun
bought Grace Euro and won't tell anyone how much for.
What? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Just tell people. No one cares. Well, no, we do all care.
But I don't know which way they're doing it. Either it's less than we think it is, and they want people to think they've broken the transfer record.
Oh, it's like a fix.
Or
not a fix.
They've spent £2 million and they don't want people to know that. Here is Dumont looking for the cutback. Chance now for Schrader. Bounces around. Claimed well by Fallon Tullis Joyce. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who is the next world transfer record. I imagine is Wilson out of contract soon. I think she is.
I thought she was pregnant.
It would have been. Yeah, she is.
Oh, right. But about saying it depends where she's at.
Well, yeah. So I don't. But next summer or sort of the January after that could be an option.
Maybe.
If not, it could be Putellas. Is her contract up next summer?
Yes.
I think it is.
And Barcelona will do well to find any money to get that back.
Well, no, they'll probably go, we ain't got any money, but we've just offered Putellas like 400 grand a week. No, it won't be that high. But they will offer a ridiculous contract.
United, really not. I think frustration is kicking in a little bit here for United.
Jeffrard Riviere, welcome to the stream. Says, what a player, Dumont. Any relation of Jade? But very true. Dumont is, a fantastic footballer. Absolutely ridiculous footballer.
Yeah, sorry, United coaches have got to be careful here a little bit because that bloke is not happy at all.
The batch has gone down right on the touchline.
And the referee gave a free kick. I don't think he's very happy.
I don't know that member, but he's furious.
No. He hasn't got any initials on his coach.
Coach,
very smart. Yeah.
They're shouter.
No one knows who he is.
Skinner and Roberts just pass him a note and he just runs out.
He's not even a coach, he's a bloke from the crowd.
They've given him a purple coat so he can do what he wants.
Right, mate. Eric, what we need to do, right? Every time we need to be angry, you need to shout, and then once we're done, you can just run back upstairs.
Ryan said, bronze number 6, we found our shooting boots. Absolutely, 6-0 Chelsea. See, this is why we get out videos about Chelsea not being good at shooting before they play Roma. Yeah. 17 shots, 6 goals.
Speaking of Chelsea, clinical. Ash Lawrence is now on the pitch for Lyonnais.
Former Chelsea player. You can't help but feel, Lyonnais have got the short end of the stick there, given how good. What?
Yeah, no.
Cup's just been phenomenal.
I think the man without a name at the moment might have just been booked for the way.
They don't know how.
No.
Who are they going to book?
He's still there. He's the only United coach to the pitch side of the board on the touchline.
Liliana's too hot in the pursuit there of the football, and that will be a free kick. But yeah, a reminder for Manchester United fans, we are back with more Manchester United live streams. This Sunday, they take on Tottenham. Join us here live for that 2:30 kickoff. And that is not the only stream we've got over the next few days. Tomorrow we're back live for UWCL action as Aston Villa take on Liverpool. And this weekend, join us for Arsenal Everton on Saturday morning. And before that game between Tottenham and United, we have got Chelsea taking on Brighton.
Yeah,
so a lot to look forward to this week.
Yeah, bit of midweek UWCL action. Love it.
Yeah, and then we're back next week with more Champions League. We've got the Champions League final night or league phase final night on Wednesday, and we've got the Champions League draw on Thursday, which we don't know yet what time it is. Either way, Harry probably won't be.
No.
But join me for that as we find out who will play who in the knockout playoff round, and that at the moment will feature Manchester United, and short of a minor miracle next Wednesday, will feature Manchester United. Gotcha. Now out wide into Chewinga. Can she make happen? Goes back to Corbin Schrader. Batcher. Chewinga. Agarola. And now Batcher. Into Sombath. Lawrence. Diani. And now Melchi Dumornay. To the left-hand side. Here's Johannes. Schrader. Dumornay can't quite find that pass forward. Ziggiotti into Toon. Ball in behind. Lawrence will get there. Reeve said these two must be ecstatic with this result. Not really bothered either way, to be honest. About this game.
I'll be honest. I'm disappointed.
I thought this was going to be a better game.
I thought this would be a really good Champions League clash between two very good sides. It was going to be. I put it 3-2. I thought it would be a humdinger. You know, an absolutely brilliant contest that could go either way. But I've turned out, watched Man United have 2 shots.
Yeah, United. They went out to lose. They tried to change it in second half. It didn't work. After I saw the line-up, it said 4-1 Lyon. But Lyonnes haven't had any reason to come forward with that kind of conviction.
It was a weak United side against a Lyon side that knew they could get away with playing at 80%.
They just needed a result.
Yeah.
And that's what they've got.
Yeah.
United are happy that they've got the rest, but yeah, when they went for it in the second half, they'll be disappointed that they've come away with nothing. Because now, really, how much have they rested? Yeah, like the only starter who hasn't featured is Turland. So,
yeah,
not a massively successful rest anyway.
No, I think they'd have fancied themselves that first 10 minutes of the second half where they brought in the subs. They were right in the game, and then it just slowly ran away from them, and eventually Dumornay decided to slap one in the top corner.
Yeah. I guess the positive for us is that United will play in the knockout playoff round. More English clubs in that stage of the competition is good for us.
Yes.
But yeah, Diani breaking into the box. Chance now for Lyonnes. Cut back, and there we go. Melchi Dumornay arrows it into the top corner. And Lyonnes in dominant fashion here claim their third. United have had little in the way of a response to this Lyonnes showing. Melchi Dumornay arrows one into the top corner. United 0, Lyonnes 3.
I'd love to know what that top right corner has done to upset Melchi Dumornay, because once again, she absolutely leathers this into that top corner. Oh, no chance of colour choice. Just flies past her.
Yeah.
She can't even react before the ball's in the net. It's hit that hard
She
and
doesn't
that
know
well.
The cross has gone in before the ball's hit the back of the net. But yeah, Melchi Dumornay, her 4th goal in the Women's Champions League. 2 tonight and 2 against Arsenal. She is loving playing on English soil this season.
I really hope Lyonnes don't draw Chelsea at any point.
That's right.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And United are sinking without a trace tonight.
And a big goal in the game between Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich. In the 90th minute, Atleti have drawn level.
Wow.
It's Fiamma with a goal set up by Luani. Atleti 2, Bayern 2. And that knocks Bayern back out of the top 4.
Wow, that is huge. I've also taken Luani out of my UWCL. I've had a shocker.
And for Atleti, that is such an important goal because it means they are not really at risk they would need to suffer a 4-goal swing and then lose and Volorenia win.
Well, they are playing OL Lyonnes, so
Not outside the realms of possibility,
no.
but if it would have been a lot more difficult for them had they lost that game to Bayern. But that's a big point.
Juventus.
And Juventus are the side I think that are celebrating that the most.
We're having a party tonight. Well, probably not. They got a game on the weekend.
Yeah.
And they're not through to anything.
No, true. They'll wait till Christmas.
If they get the result next Wednesday, they're having a party.
Yeah, been off the league. They're not going to win it now anyway. Roma have been brilliant in the league.
I'd love to know. I'd love to talk to Roma because they are 5 points clear in the Serie A Femminile, but they've been terrible in Europe.
3 goals and conceded 18.
Terrible in Europe.
The only team with the worst record is St. Polten.
Yeah,
and then it's PSG. PSG.
But then again, they've won every game domestically, bar International Lyon.
That says a lot more about the Premier League than it does about the Champions League.
Maybe.
They lost 6-1 to OL Lyonnes and yet have beaten every other team.
That is true.
And they've come into the Champions League and they've got 1 point, and that was a draw to a Belgian side.
But they don't start Kanjinga. That's the issue.
Because we watched it against Wolfsburg.
I've never seen a player take so many shots.
Yeah. Ahmed says you guys are not doing much watch-alongs for Chelsea. We weren't about on Sunday, and we wanted to watch United Lyonnes. We thought it would be a better contest.
I think we have probably watched Chelsea every other match week of the season.
The only one we haven't watched Chelsea in like the last 2 years, they lost in the WSL.
Yeah,
we've watched every other Chelsea game. We are back this Sunday with Chelsea. Chelsea take on Brighton. Down the line, Park. But no, it was a miserable Sunday in our house. The F1 did not go the way it should have. And Chelsea women lost.
Right
times. Liam asks, who we think wins the Champions League this year, English team or not? I think, Chelsea are the only side, English side with a realistic possibility of winning the Champions League this year. I mean, if Arsenal or United pull off what Arsenal did last season, then they could win it. For me, the favourites are between Chelsea, Lyonnes, and Barcelona.
It's Lyonnes.
I think Barcelona, the thing is, Barcelona don't have the squad depth. Chelsea have been inconsistent in some games this season. But what I will say is I think their setup is perfect for top sides. But Lyonnes then have games like Juventus. So I think there's a weakness in all of them.
The thing is, the way I look at
it should be exciting.
The way I look at the Juventus game is I think any other team this season, if they were 3-0 down to Juventus at half time, would have lost that game.
True.
The fact they turned it around and they got it to 4-3, but it was offside.
Would Barcelona or Chelsea ever be 3-0 down to Juventus?
I don't know the answer to that question. That's for me, I'll be honest, I said this last night, for me, I think it'll be a OL Lyonnes or a surprise, if I'm being realistic. I think it'll be OL Lyonnes or an absolute shock, like a Bayern Munich or somebody like that.
Until Chelsea are knocked out, I'm always going to say Chelsea.
Oh, of course. I'd love to see Chelsea win it, but I'm just being realistic.
I've already got my plane ticket to Oslo.
That's really costly for you. It doesn't work out.
Yeah, we're going to take the train anyway.
No, we're not going to do that. We're going to walk.
Yeah.
I would.
I'm going to get a bus. Just fill it with Chelsea fans. Just Basil, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, we'll get TWC on the side. We'll take a TWC
bus.
I'm
glad you found the marketing budget.
Yeah, they've got found it somewhere.
Torrance. And that is last kick of the game here at the Lee Sports Village. Manchester United 0, OL Lyonnes 3. A commanding victory here for the visitors. And Geraldes and Skinner engaging in an embrace after that battle. Though to call it a battle feels a little kind to Manchester United. They struggled to put up any fight against a very strong OL Lyonnes side. And with that, OL Lyonnes go to second in the league phase. And in a very similar position to Barcelona, they would need to lose next week. And both Juventus and Real Madrid claim 3-0 victories or more. It's not quite as inconceivable as Barcelona's, which would require a 9-goal swing. But Lyonnes in a very comfortable position now.
Yeah, very much so. Another really good performance, and it's been another professional league phase for Lyonnes. And they'll be hoping they can carry on this form into the knockouts, get the job done next week, and then, look to hit the ground running when the quarterfinals come back around in 2026.
Yeah, as for Manchester United, I mean, people in chat mentioning it's their first foray into the Women's Champions League. I think their performances in the first 4 match weeks were fairly solid. This was always expected to be a very difficult test, but especially when you don't field a particularly strong side. I think United knew tonight was going to be difficult. They kind of threw that game away. They don't have the depth to compete really in the Champions League and the league. And that is still a massive issue. United don't have the investment. I think people that discredit Mark Skinner, it's harsh. I think he's done an incredible job with the limited resources that United give him, and I think that they're doing really well to be in the Champions League. The fact that they've got into it this year, the fact they were above Man City, when you look at how good that City squad is. Yes, last season was a disaster for City, admittedly, with Gareth Taylor getting sacked, Nick Cushing coming in and somehow being worse, and all the injuries that City had last season. Yes, that wasn't a great season for City, but the fact United finished ahead of them, the fact they're in the Champions League this season, the fact they're competing as well as they are across the 2 competitions, given their lack of squad depth, I think they've done very well. So, they're through to the knockout playoff round guaranteed. They can't be knocked out. So they were, and it's very unlikely now they'll get top 4. It would require a lot of gymnastics in the final game week. But yeah, that is everything for tonight's Champions League stream. We'll be back tomorrow night with midweek WSL action as Aston Villa host Liverpool in that rearranged fixture. And then we're back this weekend with 3 WSL matches. Saturday morning, Everton taking on Arsenal. Then on Sunday morning, we've got Chelsea versus Brighton and Manchester United playing Tottenham. So a lot of games to look forward to this weekend. Join us for all of that and join us live on Monday for our new weekly live show, the WSL Weekend Roundup. Join us there as well. That is everything. Thank you, Ryzen. So don't forget to leave a like on the video. Thanks, Liam, joining in for the first time. And Tumblablo, easy for me to say. Thank you for hopping in to the stream. Thanks everyone that has tuned in. That is everything from us this evening. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.